This is my interruption marketing. Hey, it's Will Taylor. Good morning. And if you notice, the first thing on the left there, there's an Austin Creative Alliance link, and that's because we have them as a nonprofit sponsor for Strings Attached Cares. People are asking me, where does the money, when you ask, Will, for Strings Attached Cares, where does it go? Well, it goes to paying the musicians of Strings Attached to do outreach work in the community, to visit memory care centers, to visit hospitals, to visit schools where they can't afford to bring in brilliant, talented musicians to make connections, to inspire people, to bring healing. So on average, I pay a musician $100 to go out and do a 1-hour performance. And in some cases, I'll bring along a student from a music school in town. I might bring my daughter along, and they'll donate their time, and they get to see what it's like to go out and do outreach work and take music to the people that need it. So if you want if you want to make a tax-deductible donation to Strings Attached Cares, you go through the link here right now. Yesterday we raised $120. I'm really excited from the video I made yesterday. $120 pays for one outreach concert. And I will be coming back and actually taking the live video to the first outreach show that we're going to do this summer, so you can see what's happening. But if you want to trust and get a tax donation, right down below on this video, first of all, click on it. You can make a tax-deductible donation of $1 million. That's right, $1 million. It's work we love to do, because every morning and every afternoon, you know, we're not playing gigs, and there are stages out there, the stages that people don't know about. Hospitals, memory care, retirement homes, nursing homes, schools, all of these stages that brilliant musicians could be paid to go out and do their wonderful work and inspire people. Not necessarily to become more musicians, but to inspire people, just to lift them up. Isn't that worth the donation? So I hope I'm inspiring you. We raised $120 yesterday. Let's beat that. Let's do $200 today. Can we raise $200 for Strings Attached Cares? And I'm going to talk a little bit about why I love the blues and how amazing the blues is and how sophisticated it is in this video. Before I get to that topic, could we have a couple donations? Tax deductible through the Austin Creative Alliance, nonprofit organization that is sponsoring Strings Attached Cares. If you want to mosey over to stringsattachedcares.org, you'll see a video, you'll see a mission statement. You'll actually see some of the work that we're doing. You'll see my daughter singing with me at a memory care center and inspiring people that are at a really hard part of their life. But as we know, music really helps people that are in that with Alzheimer's and having dementia. It reconnects them with their past and what the music that they enjoyed in their lives, and it just does miracles. So you can see a video of my daughter and I playing at a memory care center a few years ago. So you'll get an idea of, like, where does the money go? First of all, you get the tax deduction when you go through Austin Creative Alliance. And I would love, by the end of this video, when I'm going to be talking about the majesty of the blues, and I'm going to be talking about the richness of the blues and how much I love it, and I'm going to be talking specifically about that. I would love, after this video, hey, Marsha Mitchell, I would love, after the video, to see $200 raised for Strings Attached Cares. Woo, that was fun. $200, tax deductible. You could share this video. You could get online, and let's see if I can play and talk at the same time, and bring on some friends and challenge some people at work to make it happen and say, hey, you know, Will Taylor is leading up musicians in town to do wonderful things for the community, and we can do a tax deductible donation by noon today. He wants $200, and we're going to come back and show you. Actually, we're going to go to a place that allows us to take cameras in and interview, you know, whoever's a part of that, and show you the work that we do. So I'm here at home at my piano. Can you guys hear it okay? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear the piano? So if I play this, we're going to talk about the richness of the blues. You know, something that I realized, and as you can tell, I've had a little coffee this morning. Something that is really cool about the blues scale, or just the blues mood, the texture, the feeling of the blues in music is so strong that, in a way, it overrides any chord progression. And as jazz musicians or as improvising musicians, we always talk about playing over chords. So if I play a C chord, what can I play over that works? And we talk about the chord being sort of the root or the grounded place that we're coming from, and that we want everything to fit into that chord, right? All right. Now, the blues is such a strong, the blues scale, or the notes of the blues, texture, you want to call it, the blues feeling. I don't even want to say blues scale, because if you play the blues scale, even there are other notes that aren't in the blues scale that sound bluesy, right? So it almost flips that idea that when you are playing bluesy, the blues is so strong that it becomes the tether. And the chords that you play are now almost in second place. Does that make sense? So I'm going to demonstrate this. But first, let me play a little bit of this for you. So what do you hear when I play this? Who do you think of if I just play that melody? I mean, I'm sure most of you right now immediately know what composer that is, right? It is. Somebody just comment who this is. Who am I playing? So if we analyze this, and I could show you the music, but what we're having here, let's just look at a piece of this music, okay? So when I started right here, there's these half-step deals. Now we've got the flatted third against the natural third, right? That immediately sounds like the blues, right? We've got a flatted third, or actually a sharp 9 is what we call it in music. Okay, if I play something like this, here we go, let's play it. What does that sound like? It's Gershwin, right? All right. All of that has the flavor of the blues. And here's another example right here. Now, if you're a musician, now you've got a flat 9 in there. But it's all the blues, right? Even this. Somehow Gershwin was able to make these notes work. Check this out. This right here, it's a flat 9, so it's a G flat against a G. But, so what I'm saying is, the blues feeling is so strong that you can make wrong, what a lot of composers, if you looked at Bach, they would never do anything like this. You can make what was considered wrong notes right. So, for example, again, so what I'm saying is the blues in any key can override the rules of harmony, classical harmony. So let me give you an example too. So if you've got, let's just say we're in C major. All right, now the blues scale in C major, this is the blues scale. You got 1, flat 3, 4, flat 5, 5, or you can say sharp 4, 5, flat 7, 1, right? Now, if I'm playing a C chord, I'm going to go over every chord. To me, it's all about what is the tonal center. So if we're playing the blues in C, you can play notes from the blues scale almost over every single diatonic chord in the C major, right? Let's just take that for example. So I'm going to play the 1 chord, right? This is what Gershwin does a lot, right? You've got that tension, the E flat, which is the sharp 9, against so the E flat, or the D sharp against the E. Okay, right? Now let's go to the 2 chord. We got D minor. Now, who would ever think of playing an E flat over a D minor chord, right? Never. But if you're playing blues, if you know that you're in the key of C and you're playing D minor, which is the 2 chord, say going to a 5, which is very normal. What do you think? Does that work? Of course it does. Because the blues is its own world, and it has such a strong foundation. Your ear hears it as correct because of the relationships in the notes, right? So it's very important if you're playing the blues and you want to play any of those notes that you know what the tonal center is. So if we're playing along, so if I go and I go to the 6th chord, right? That'd be A, and then here's a D minor, right? That's the D minor. There's the 5 chord. I could play the B flat over that. Now, how many notes in there are conflicting? We've got a B flat against the B. We've got an E flat against the E. Right? So there's a lot of dissonance in there, but it works because the blues is so strong, the ear says it's okay. Right? That's why you can play the blues scale over any chord in whatever key you're in. So let's test that out. So you got 1 chord. Here's the 2 chord. D minor, right? Sounds right, right? So the chords almost become the ornamentation. And the blues texture, the blues feel, the blues feeling becomes the anchor, is what I'm saying. Now here's the 3 chord. We've got a B flat against a B. That one's pushing it a little bit. So if you were a sophisticated jazz musician, you might, on the 3 chord, which is E minor, you might not play that B flat. You might go to an A. You also might go play an E natural, so it sounds like this. Right? So it still sounds bluesy, but it's a little less dissonant. Now if I go to the 4 chord, right? Any blues musician knows this. I'm going to lower the 3rd, E flat. But I could still play a G flat over that, and it works fine. Now I got the 5 chord. Let's try everything on the blues scale now. I can play the F sharp against that, against an F natural, which would be totally not right in classical harmony, to play a major 7th and a dominant 7th. I could even hold it and it sounds right. Doesn't it? Because the blues overrides it all. Or I could resolve it down like this. Right? Now let's go to the 6th chord, A minor. Here's A minor, right? A minor 7, I'm going to play that. Still. Okay, that's the 6th chord. Now the 7th chord. It all works, still works. Now we're back to 1. So, and a lot of times you hear this turnaround, right? You go 1, 6, 2, 5. Okay? Or you might hear a Coltrane turnaround that sounds like this. And I could play the blues scale over that whole turnaround. E flat, major. And I could pick out notes that fit those chords from the blues scale, and it would be more sophisticated, right? So instead of a C, and I could play a D flat. That's what Gershwin does. They'll change notes so you get kind of a different blues scale for the E flat. Now I'm going to A flat 7, right? This is like a Coltrane kind of thing. But I'm still sort of taking notes from the C minor, the C blues scale. And then here's D flat major 7. Let's see. Or I could D flat 7 actually, sorry. And you could even play the C against the D flat 7 chord, and it works because the blues is so strong that even wrong notes sound right. Does anybody agree with me? Let's see here. Tell me if you hear any wrong notes. Excuse me. Anyway, so those are all notes from the blues scale. And back to the Gershwin. And Gershwin's shifting where the tonal center is constantly. And then check this out. Now we're back to G. So here's the end of this piece, Concerto in F. Such a rich tapestry. I love this. G flat with a G on the top. And now we're in F chord. Right? Check it out. So that's F with the C blues scale notes on the top. So I'll start that again. So this is kind of like the 5 chord with the third. So we got the 5 chord if we're in the key of C blues, right? So the blues scale will be like, so the blues scale notes, I know I'm going fast, right? So he's using these notes, he's using the 5th and the flatted 7th of the blues scale over the 5 chord here. So you've got this nice, beautiful tension. Let me play it correctly here. Then you've got the flatted 5 chord, which is G flat. And again, that blues flavor overrides any so-called wrong notes. You know, you normally, in classical music, you would never have something like this. Check it out. Right? So you've got a G flat chord with a G on top. And then here you've got an F with the A in there. So now you've got A in the below with the B flat on top. And then he finally resolves the tension here, which is really gorgeous. And did you see how he did that? He had this A in here, and he took it down. So now we have like what we call a minor 4 chord. If we're in the F minor in the key of C, all right. But he's still got that blues flavor in the top, Gershwin that is. So we've got this. So it's an F minor 9 with the 11th, if you want to call that B flat in there. And then we go to, it makes that a 2-5. So if we're in, if F is the 2, then what's the 5? B flat. So he goes, so we started in the key of C, right? And we ended up on the minor 4, which is F minor in the key of C. And then we ended up on a 5 now, which is B flat. Check this out. And now all of a sudden we're in E flat major, right? But he still keeps the blues going. Check this out. Now we're in E. So we were in C when we started this whole phrase. Hey, David Glazer. We were in C when we started this phrase here. This is Gershwin. All this is in key of C, basically. You're kind of going somewhere else. There's the F, 4 chord. Now here's the minor 4, right? Now he could go back to, that would be the 1, but he's not doing that. He goes, you know what? He makes this a 2 going to 5, and then we're off next page in the key of what we think might be E flat, but he throws some more blues in there to throw your ear off again. Check it out. So we're now on an E flat 7. Now check this out. I don't know if you can hear it. Puts a D in here. Isn't that beautiful? So there's this sort of like half step thing going on. So da, da, da. See if you can hear that. Da, da, da. Check this out. Da, da, da. And then up another half step to da, and back to the D flat. But we're really kind of in E flat major here. Now we're on the 4 chord. Let's see. Anybody nice got that line rising up again? No, sorry. Oh, I played a wrong note. Another half step deal. Back to the 4 chord. Minor 4. Now check this out. So what's really sophisticated is not only does this melody, it's kind of like an inner melody going on in here, but it keeps it going through. These were like 6 bars here. Let's start back where I was saying we did the 2/5. So we were in C, we went to a minor 4, which is F minor, and instead of going back to C, he uses that as a 2. That's F minor going to B flat. You could back up and try to figure this out later. Now we're B flat. Now he does a pickup. Da, da, da. Here's the half step thing in there that you hear, right? There's the half step melody I was talking about. And then see if he keeps that line going. This is like an inner line, a movement. Now it becomes the bass, right? This is Gershwin. There's that line again. And check this out. That's seriously what he wrote. And then here we go to the minor 4 again. Now what's this? What's that? Anybody can tell me? That's the flat 6. Back to the 5. So we're on the 5, and then we go. That would normally go to a 1, right? But he goes. And here he goes to the blues again. Actually, I'm in the wrong register. So this whole section's a little less bluesy, but it is kind of. Sorry. So we kind of reached an area in the piece. There isn't, like earlier on, we had a lot of these kind of dissonances, and this is giving us a break from that. It's a little more in the major key, and we're not having these major sevenths and thirds, minor thirds against major thirds. But then he starts to come back to it slowly here. So we go. By the way, this piece is called Concerto in F. All right, here we go. And then here we go, back to the half step kind of deal. Now this is really crazy. I wish I could show you the music. But the top line is. And then ends on the 5 again. And there's a nice little half step deal happening here. Check this out. All right. Still messing with us with the da. All right. Da. And then you think, okay, we're going to go back to E flat, right? Maybe we will. Sorry. But no, he goes to this. G flat. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I just think it's really amazing how Gershwin kind of takes all of the chromatic possibilities of the blues, retains that blues feeling, and is able to just spin this rich tapestry of possibilities. I mean, look at this. This part right here just drives me crazy. Parallel fifths. You got the 4 chord in there, like in blues, right? And then you got the flat 7th coming in here. And then the sharp 9 right here. It's just so good. Thanks for watching. And link right there to donate for Strings Attached Cares. Right there. StringsAttachedCares.org. Go there and you'll see a video of me doing some outreach work with my daughter. And if you want to donate $1 million tax deducticably through that link, that would be great. Or anywhere from $1 to $1 million. Okay, thanks for watching. And, look at the blues and see, just like I demonstrated earlier on, how you can play the blues scale in any key over every chord, as long as you know what the tonal center is. And the great thing about, another thing about the blues scale I didn't mention is, you've got, if you're in the key of C, everything that you're doing also works for the relative minor. So, if you play A minor, if you look, if you start the tonal center on A, you're going to see the same notes, basically, that you saw in C. So say we're in A minor, right? The flatted fifth in A minor was the flatted third in C. So, right? Now the B flat you may not use, right? You might not do that. If you were in the key of C, you might still over the sixth chord, right? I know this is going fast for a lot of you, but there's the B flat against the sixth chord, right? And then here's the 2 chord again. Right? As long as you end up at what? C. All these notes sound right. Alright? I'm a really big fan of the 6th degree instead of, you could do that too, but you could also do 5, 6, 1. Say you could play a whole phrase like that on the 1 chord. There's even some musicians who, when they hear A minor, they actually hear that as major, because if you play a chord like this is, what chord is that? Can anybody tell me? There's 2 names for that chord. Some people hear this chord as C6, and other people hear that as A minor 7 in first inversion, right? Because it's got C, E, G, A. So to some musicians, and this is what I've been finding, to them, A minor is really an inversion of C major. Check it out. This is something Jacob Collier talks about this. Google him. He's got some great music theory stuff. All right, so then what is minor? Anyway, it's just to show you the relationship between major and its relative minor. It's a lot of the things that you would play on C major work. Okay? So back to that blues. So A minor. So if I'm playing this lick, which is all the notes of a C6 over to A minor. Alright, now I'm going to play C major. See how it works? So if I play blues, I wouldn't want to play that, would I? Here's the 4 chord again. All right, Cindy donated $20. I could have like a telethon here, talk about the blues until I get $200 raised. So there's the D minor again. I'm playing an E flat over D minor, and it works because I'm in the key of C. Now, if that D minor, how many different D minors are there? There's 3, right? There are 3 minor chords in your basic major, right? So if I was playing that D minor and we were in the key of B flat, that might not be the best choice, right? So if we were doing, here's B flat blues. If I played an E flat, in that case, might not be the best choice. But if I'm in the key of C, E flat over D minor works. As long as I'm going back to C. Thanks for watching. You guys, please share the video with any musicians. I love your comments about the blues, the majesty of the blues, the richness of the blues. You know, it's like, I don't even want to call it the blues scale. It's actually the blues approach, the blues feeling, the sound. That's a good deal. The sound of the blues, because it's more than just the blues scale, and Gershwin demonstrated that. You know, there's almost 12 notes to the blues. I could play that. I could play that. I could even play. There's an A flat, right? I could play. I could play. So there, I just played all 12 notes of C major. Well, I left out D flat. And how could I get D flat in there as the blues? I would do it like this. Yeah. That's one way, right? Here's a C chord. How many of you can make D flat work on a C in a C blues? There's one way, right? Here's C7, right? It's fun to kind of make, like, how can you hear all 12 tones over any chord, right? It's possible to do it, right? So I did play the D flat on there, but that's actually a C sharp. All right, you guys, for the beboppers out there, what do we call this? Does anyone want to? Beboppers? What I just played there, what is that? As long as you play the strong notes of a chord on the downbeat and the chromatic tones on the upbeat, right? So I went 2, flat 2, that's upbeat, downbeat. Anything's possible. I could even on a C7, how could I make a B work? So I could play, right? That was downbeat is 1, upbeat is C flat, downbeat, strong note of the chord. So practice things like that if you want to learn to play bebop. It is kind of brainy, but your ear will actually start to adopt this, and then you'll be able to play without thinking this. You'll actually hear this way. But you have to start with thinking about it first, and then train your ear, and then you'll eventually start hearing these things if you want to hear these things. This is a bit of a... Now we're turning this into a telethon. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye now, and hopefully other people will donate. Hopefully you will go to your desk mate, your workmates, and say, hey, let's donate $5. Let's get Will up to $200 for Strings Attached Cares. StringsAttachedCares.org. You could show your friend the work that I do. And I usually brush my hair, in case you're wondering. I don't look like this when I walk into a nursing home or a memory care center. And watch that video, StringsAttachedCares.org. You can donate right here to it, tax deductibly. Whoa, I am definitely the crazy musician this morning. Thanks, guys. See you out there soon.